To be wonderfully different, a gun has to be something other than the norm. Something that bucked the trend, something that pushed the limits. All of these guns in this series have been covered previously, both in tabletop and shooting impression videos, and have written articles either in the magazines or the websites that I write for. Today we're going over something that unfortunately is out of production. If it went back into production, it'd probably be a couple grand just because the engineering and materials. The Walther P5. Yeah, it's a Bond gun. Where's the ejection port? Very, very cool 9mm pistol. We'll take a closer look coming up next on GBGuns. The Walther P5 is most certainly wonderfully different. Unfortunately, it's decades out of production, and there was only a limited run of them sold to citizens in the US when they were in production. This particular one was Dutch military. It's a surplus piece. About as different as it gets. The result of trials after the Munich Olympics terrorist attack, the P5 was its rival. So both HK and Walther had single stacks that were really unique. Notice the ejection port is on the left side instead of the right. Concept there being that a lot of people without a whole lot of training instinctively go to clear malfunctions this way, turning the gun to their inside to rack. Now you've got gravity helping you versus a traditional gun having to flip it to the outside and not seeing what's happening when you rack the gun. I think that's pretty cool. It's surprisingly not distracting while shooting, and if you do have a stovepipe, it's sticking out towards the right-handed shooter, which makes it really obvious. It is a heel release to retain the mag, but you've got a decocker that is also your slide release. Slide catch is that lever there, but this drops the slide, also decocks, and notice there's a little pocket back there in the hammer. That's where the firing pin rests, so that when the hammer is down, no amount of drop, that's basically the drop safety, is there's a pocket there to keep this from hitting the firing pin hard enough to detonate a round. Additionally, the firing pin, let's try to get some light in there, we can see is recessed, and as I pull the trigger, right before it goes off, the firing pin comes up into position to be fired, which means unless there's someone pulling on the trigger, the firing pin is out of alignment and safe. Pretty cool. Also has a rather unique locking system. No need to pull the trigger to take it apart. You've got a locking block and everything comes out of the front. So that's kind of reminiscent of what you see on a Bird 92, except for that. Check that out. Very, very different system. I forget the name of the engineer that designed it, but pretty cool. Also have dual operating or recoil springs, these pistons on either side. That helps keep everything really low. The full length of the gun serves as your rail, which makes for pretty smooth operation and well, some pretty good accuracy. We'll test that. This is an old gun, but we'll see. Walther P5, one of my favorites. It is an oddball, and I love it for it. Wonderfully different indeed. Got some Winchester M1152 active duty. This is a snub nose 115 grain round. Totally, well, about 30 years after this gun was designed. Don't know if it's gonna run it or not. Reduced size piece of steel out there. It's an ABC zone, just shy of 20 yards. Try some ready ups and get a feel for this thing. For a single stack, it's rather broad by modern standards, and my tent shade is about to blow away. So, all right, crisis avoided hopefully. Let's see how this thing goes. I'm even going to decock a couple times and try that double action. It's a very straight-wristed grip angle. Long double action. I always forget and have to get used to it again. There we go. See if I can double. And I can. This is, it's almost unfair to call it a single stack as far as it's so big, but man, it's controllable. Just a sweet, sweet shooter. These things, like I said, are kind of uncommon, approaching rare, definitely on the collector side. You can still find them on Gunbroker. Really cool gun, using a post and dot sight system, something that didn't become popular until a little bit later, and today you still see them every once in a while. But wonder how it'll do for accuracy. So, Walther P5 accuracy time. Got 5 rounds of Archon's 124 grain, very finely cut hollow point. It's got a black nickel plated case, very smooth feeding, beautiful ammunition, and a target out there at about 7 yards. Got a circle to aim at. Let's see how this old Walther does. It's so weird seeing no ejection port on the right side. I'm gonna do this in single action to be as fair to the gun as possible. Mash that one. Interesting. So I maintained the same point of aim because I didn't want to throw off the group. The group, you can see, is pretty decent, but about 4 inches low. That could be my eyes, could be the ammo gun combination, the lighting. I don't know. I don't believe we had that issue in the past. I'll have to go back and take a look at our original review of this gun. But it grouped nicely. And that's a presumably 30-year-old service weapon. Walther knows how to make guns. And every once in a while they make them wonderfully different. The rest of the time they're just awesome. Pretty cool gun, Walther P5. If you ever get a chance, it's kind of like the P7 in that they've become unicornish. I'd say there's more of these floating around than the P7s. But I'd also say this is more comfortable to shoot. I got to try the P7 when I went out and shot with Kit Badger. We didn't think about it at the time. Would have been a great side-by-side video. Maybe next time he and I meet up, we'll have to do that. Because they're both cool 90s relics from the post-Munich Olympics terrorist attack. But really neat design. Walther's gonna hate me for saying this. I really wish they'd bring this thing back. But my wallet also thanks them for not, because I don't think with modern machining costs and labor costs, this thing would be anywhere near affordable. Walther P5, wonderfully different. Thanks for watching.